Abraham, thank you. The way that you're seeing and allowing of where we at times feel we are, and the seeing from the broader perspective who we truly are has so lifted my experiences in life, and
it's what upliftment is, isn't it? Someone who's connected to Source, or is Source, seeing you as you are so clearly that you can't help but get a glimpse of yourself as you really are yourself. That's what upliftment is. Somebody not letting the distortion rule, but knowing who you are.
That was so much my question. In the things that we create and the interactions, the way people come responding back to, I guess, what we're putting out, and somehow feeling, or how to have the eyes and the knowing that that is all kind of not really what is.
Well, as you practice where it's easiest, in other words, when you look for positive aspects among those around you where it's easy to find, so that you train yourself into that point of view, before you know it, that's what you see everywhere you look too. In other words, when, as we just said, and it's perfect how it falls on the heels of this, when you care, when how you feel is primary to you, and so you coax yourself into thoughts that feel good on all of the subjects that keep turning up in your life, then you activate a vibration consistently enough that then law of attraction kicks in, and so the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets.
I see that and feel that. There was a CD that I had heard where you spoke of a hypnotic trance from Source. And it just felt so wonderful, so beautiful, and in those moments where, as you say, be easy about this. That's exactly how it is. And to entrain that or something within, what would you recommend, please?
Well, let's talk about what a hypnotic trance is. So the hypnotist stands before you and completely disregards what you think about a particular subject, and instead focuses upon what he thinks about that subject so powerfully that his thought dominates the moment, and in your expectation you become one mind, so to speak. In other words, you could call it, on a softer sense, power of persuasion. Healers like Jesus and so many others, when you stood before him dripping your illness, he saw not your illness. Instead, he knew your wellness, and he knew it so powerfully because he trained himself not to see your departure from your well-being, but instead only your well-being, not even your potential for well-being, the existence of the part of you that is well-being. And so he dominates the vibration within you. Well, that's what your source does. That's what your inner being does. That's why we say your inner being is one point of vibrational relativity, and where you are in relationship to that is the result of how you feel. So when you live life which makes you want to be prosperous, your inner being, your source, immediately sees you as that prosperous being and never deviates from that knowledge. And when you begin to see yourself as that prosperous being, you feel better and 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 better. But if you hold yourself in an attitude that you're not prosperous, then you feel tortured because you're not letting yourself be what the dominant part of you sees. So we like the way you reference the hypnotic trance. In other words, your source never stops seeing you as it knows you are, or even more important, as it knows this life has caused you to become. And so you've always got that guiding light. It never lets loose. You could be in a really Esther could have been in a very uncomfortable state of being over something that made her feel powerless. And it's deeper than just the stones. It goes into her life in general. She's away mostly, and all kinds of things are going on in her absence, things that she has to trust other people to tend to. And so there is this feeling of loss of control until you realize that you are not controlling through your action. You are controlling, in essence, through your vibrational alignment with that vibration of well-being. And so as Esther is having that experience of discord, she could have, if she had stayed after Jerry long enough. Now, he's a tough case because he wants to feel good. But if she'd stayed after him long enough, she may very well have worn him down so that he would have joined her in all of that. But her inner being will never join her in that. In other words, and so it's interesting to say that the very reason for her discord was because of the tenaciousness of her inner being to insist on remaining in the vibration of that which she has become. Isn't that wonderful? Talk about a guiding light. In other words, your source will never wallow with you in your problems. And yet, if your source would wallow with you in your problems wouldn't feel like problems, because it is the separation that is the problem, you see. So we like the reference to the hypnotic trance. In other words, your source energy, your inner being, your Abraham, whatever you want to call it, will remain eternally the conclusion, the furthest leading edge of all that you have become. And it is such a powerful light to follow. And when you let yourself go toward it, you just feel better and better and better. Good.